Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. I am sharing some cards I made using Queen & Company's Princess Shaped Shaker Kit. It is a darling kit, just perfect for some sweet sparkly cards. The kit does not include a paper pad or toppings, so those will need to be purchased separately. I used an assortment of paper collections for my 6 cards. For card number 1, I used a sketch from Operation Right Home. This is number 146. The paper collection is the Delightful Dots, and even though pink is my favorite color, I decided to go with a purple card. I added some purple cardstock just from my stash for all of the matted layers, and then this purple glitter paper is from one of the add-ons. It was, I think, the All Bundled Up kit. And it just coordinated so nicely with this paper collection. For my image box, I'm adding some thin foam dimension just to the upper half of this rectangle. And the only reason is because I don't want that piece kind of lopsided on the card. So this gives it a nice even feel. And now I pulled out the little princess wand and make a little shaker out of it. So I adhered the foam piece down first. And then I cut it out with more of this purple glitter paper, and I did decide to include it on the inside of that star. So I just adhered that down with some liquid adhesive, added in some toppings, and then sealed it all in place with the acetate. And now I'll just add some liquid adhesive to the back of the little die cut. And then just to help hold it in place, because it kind of wants to shift a little, I just used my acrylic stamp block. And then I went ahead and cut out some oval die cuts for the sentiment. And I'm using the I Hope Your Day Sparkles sentiment. And I just used some lighter purple for that sentiment oval, just so there wasn't so much white on the card. And then once I figure out placement, I'm decided to pop that up again with just a little bit of the foam squares. And then to finish it off, I'm using some of these dark purple iridescent bubbles. So this is a very purple card, but it turned out so pretty. So that is card number 1. Moving on to card number 2, I'm using another sketch from Operation Right Home. This is number 219, and it's one of my favorites. I use it all the time. So I'm using some black cardstock for the matted layers this time, and I did cut out a scallop circle out of the background just to save on some paper. And the paper collection this time is the magical characters. So all of the paper collections I am using are from Queen & Company, and you can buy all of those individually on their website. I will provide links in the description box for all of the products I am using. So I used their new foundation dies to cut out this scallop circle and then the stitch circle that goes inside. And now I'm going to add my little crown or tiara so I can make my little shaker card. And this one is going to be in some pink. I love pink, so I had to make at least one pink sparkly card. So I'm using a few different shaker toppings, the pops and then also the jelly gems. And I'm just going to seal all of that in with the little acetate cover and then add the liquid adhesive to the back of the little crown die cut. And then again, just to hold it in place while that glue is drying, I'll just add one of my acrylic blocks. I cut out this little sentiment banner using one of the foundation die sets again. I love the variety they have, and they just have one for like every size sentiment that's in all of these fun kits. So I did want to layer that, so I'm just going to add some black cardstock. And since I'm putting that banner all the way against the edge of the card, I did just snip off the one side. That way it's flush on the edge. And then next I'm going to add some bling. And for this card I chose the Petite Posies for just the little gems to add to the crown. And then for those 3 circles that are on the sketch, I'm using some of these iridescent goosebumps. So both of those add a lot of sparkle to this card. And that is card number 2. Now on to card number 3. I'm using sketch number 21 from Reverse Confetti. And for this card, I wanted to make something that wasn't super pink and girly, that would definitely be given to an adult instead. So the background paper is actually from Queen & Company's Halloween paper collection. This is the Halloween Hoopla. And then that gray chevron paper is from the Magical Characters collection. And then I just use some silver pearlescent paper for that banner in the background. And for the most part, I'm keeping this card gray and black, so just real neutral colors, but then I'm going to have a pop of color for the diamond. So first I wanted to stamp my sentiment onto this square, and this is "You are a real gem." Now I'll go ahead and put my card front onto a card base before I start building my shaker. So I cut this one out of some more of this glitter cardstock that was in the add-on for the All Bundled Up collection. And I want to have the background also with this paper, but this diamond cuts out all of these little tiny pieces, and I decided not to try to put those all back together. So instead I just traced the shape onto some more of this glitter cardstock and then just cut it just a little bit smaller. And then that way you're not going to see the edges when I adhere it all in place, and then it's perfectly in the background. So I'm going to add an assortment of different toppings. I have some of the jelly gems that match perfectly with this glitter cardstock, and there's some of the bright pearlies in there as well. And these kept jumping out, so that's what you see me doing here, is I'm just trying to tuck them back in. That darn static just wants them to escape. So once I get those all sealed in place, I'm just going to add some liquid adhesive to the back of this die cut. And then again, use my acrylic block to hold that down while it dries. So lots of pretty sparkle. Then I decided to add a little banner in this corner, and I used some of Queen & Company's self-adhesive glitter foam. So I used the black, and it's really pretty. And then just to finish off this card, I'm using some of the turquoise Goosebumps. So this also matches really nicely with this glitter paper. And that is card number 3. Now on to card number 4. This sketch is number 426 from MFT. So I had to make another pink card, but I promise this is the last one. The paper collection is the Birthday Bash. So I have some of this confetti paper for the top, and then this bright colorful stripe paper for the bottom. And for this sketch, where it has 2 of the diagonal cuts, I actually only cut the stripe paper into that diagonal piece and then just left the top part as a square. That way I didn't have to try to line them up together. And since it's going to be covered up because I put just a pink cardstock strip between the two, then you can't see the seams. So I'm going to use this little princess wand again, and then I cut another one of the little sentiment banners using the foundation dies and just trimmed off the edge just so it could be flush on the side of the card. And I'm going to have the sentiment off to the right, since this little princess wand is going to be on the left hand side of it. And then I used some of the trio trims. This is the twine with the pink and white, and I'm just going to have that wrapped around the little princess wand. But I'll wait until I get all of it adhered together before I tie that. So I just used some pink cardstock for the background, and then this one has some of the little jewels as well as the pops for the toppings. So once I get those in place, I'll go ahead and seal that all down with the acetate cover, and then add some liquid adhesive to glue the little wand on top. And the little stem of the wand kept shifting on me, so definitely wanted to get that in place before it dried. And I did have it sitting there longer than that quick second you saw. So now I go ahead and I'll tie that little bow around the wand. And then I decided to add a little banner to that upper right hand corner. And this is again from the foundation dies. So it was one of the longer banners and I just cut off a small piece of it. And it's really nice since all of the foundation dies have this faux stitching on them. And this wand needed some sparkle, so I just used one of the Wink of Stella glitter pens to add that shine and sparkle. And now I'll go ahead and add some embellishments, and these are the Petite Posies again. I believe this is the pink color, and they just add a really nice sparkle. And since it's going on top of that glitter from the Wink of Stella, I did use a little extra adhesive for the one that's on the wand. So that is card number 4. Next up is card number 5. I'm using Mojo Monday sketch number 376. And since every little princess isn't a fan of pink or purple, I decided to switch it up and use some green and blue instead. This pattern paper is from the Birthday Bash collection. So again, I'm adding just a little bit of that glitter paper, just that thin strip going across the lower part of the card. And then for this square part, I'm using some more of this silver pearlescent paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach that card front to my card base. And I cut out this stitch circle using one of the foundation dies and then some of the pattern paper. And the sentiment I used is "May your day be magical." I always love the assortment of sentiments that come in all of Queen & Company's kits. So I'm going to go ahead and use this crown again, and I cut that out using some of their glitter paper. This is self-adhesive glitter paper. So I'll go ahead and adhere the crown down first, and I do want to have it white in the background. So I did cut out just some white pearlescent paper, and then I just glued that in place. And now I'll adhere that foam piece. And now I get to add all of my toppings. So again, I'm using some of the bright pearlies and some of the jelly gems. I love this blue jelly gem color. It's kind of more of a turquoise, so it goes really well with this paper collection. So this glitter paper is really thin, so you have to be really careful with it, but it's nice because it is self-adhesive. So once I get that held down, I just kind of give it a good hold. I'll go ahead and add some embellishments, and I am using some brand new embellishments. So some of these aren't quite available yet, but once they are, I will add links in the description. So I have one of these blue spirals, and then some more of the little Petite Posies, and then just one of the Goosebumps, just to add a little bit of variety on the sizes of the bling. So I was going to use one of the Goosebumps on the top of the crown and then changed my mind and used one of the little Petite Posies instead. And then I just added 3 more of the Petite Posies on the right hand side. So that is card number 5. So now on to card number 6. So I decided to go with a completely different colors this time. So I'm using the Pretty Presents paper collection. So lots of orange and reds and yellows and a little bit of pink and turquoise in there. Just using some orange cardstock from my stash for the layering. And that background paper is just some white pearlescent paper that I cut out using a stitched rectangle die. And then I cut out this banner using one of the foundation dies. And then I did trim off just the end of it because I felt it was a little too long for this card. And you can see I have a scallop cut out of the back of that matted paper, and there it is. So again, these are using one of the foundation die sets. And I decided on this card, I'm not going to make a shaker, even though I do have more shaker pieces available. I wanted to show that you can still use the dies without always making a shaker card. And the diamond is just perfect for this. So I cut that out using some of the new self-adhesive glitter foam. So this isn't quite available yet on the website, but it should be shortly. And then I just put behind that some more of this white pearlescent paper, just so it had a little more definition and I didn't want to have the yellow as the background. So I used one of the little sentiment banners. I'm going to add my little sentiment. I'm using the "You Are a Real Gem" again. And I did stamp it more off to the right hand side. I'm going to leave some room for some bling. And then I wanted to mat that, so I just used some turquoise paper that coordinated well with that pattern paper. And then just adding a little more of that turquoise into the card. I used it for one of the little banners in that upper corner. So now I'm going to add some of the bling, and some of this is also newer bling that may not be quite available yet, but will be coming soon. So I'm using some more of the Goosebumps and the Petite Posies, and then that larger white one is a bull eye. So it's really pretty, lots of sparkle. So that is card number 6. And now here's just a quick recap of the 6 cards I made using Queen & Company's Princess Shaped Shaker Kit. This kit was so much fun, and I loved using a variety of paper collections to get very different looks for each of my cards. I will provide links to all of the products used that are currently available in the description box. And if you didn't see my video using the new Space Shaped Shaker Kit, I'll provide a link to that video in the description as well. It's another adorable kit, and I really can't decide which one is my favorite. They're both just a lot of fun. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I always appreciate the support. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.